You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
We haven't even seen the commodity run yet. So this is just, a movie preview of the commodity run. The next couple of years, when this bear comes to a conclusion, we'll see the commodities really ramp up and they'll go higher than most people will ever imagine.
It's Bill Powers, and this is Mining Stock Education. Thank you for tuning in. Speaking today with my friend, master trader Nick Santiago from MiningStockEducation.com. Nick, welcome back onto the show. And before we talk miners and metals, interested in your take on the bloodbath that's occurring in the tech sector. Were you making any money shorting some of these tech names?
Well, if you remember back, Bill, from November 2021, I thought that the bear market would begin for tech. I thought it would actually start in technology before it even started for the S&P 500. So I played 5 times XLK put options, all successful, big winning trades. And I've also had, not too long ago, a QID call option, which QID is short the NASDAQ sector or the NASDAQ index. So I played that pretty successfully. I haven't done a whole lot in the last 2 weeks. I thought the markets would probably bounce around October 13th or so. That has happened. We'll run up into the election. We might even go a week or so past the election. And I'll probably be looking to buy put options on technology again for the 7th time. But I have done it 6 times already. Every trade has been successful. And that's how I'll continue to play it on the downside, as I do believe we are going to have another leg lower.
So you're shorting every rip in the general equities, you told me in the past. And just some back of the napkin advice for listeners if they want to play that trade. Is it a 15% bump and then you start shorting, or what are some of the rule of thumbs you have there?
So really the trick of it is to find out when you're going into major resistance. Now, if you remember the June rally that we had not too long ago, it went all the way up from June 17th to August 16th. Around that time, I was actually a little bit early, started to buy puts on the markets and various equities as well around the 1st of August. And I had a timing factor there, but I knew if it overshot in time, it would stall out around the 15th to the 18th of August. So I would just tell everybody, get educated on the charts. There's no other way to navigate a bear market without charts. And if you go and look at some of these hedge fund returns, they're absolutely disastrous this year. Most people are not making money this year. Bear markets are very, very tough. And even the best pros sometimes want to sit them out because the counter trend rallies that we get can be so fierce and quick. So it's a very, very trying time, especially since most participants have been brainwashed since March 2009 to just simply buy the dip. Now, if you bought the dip on, say, a high flyer like Kavana or one of these other stocks that were trading at $300 and now are single digit equities, you've been in a lot of pain. And, people have been devastated through this bear market. That's really just starting the second half. It's not over for a long time.
Nick, real estate, are you shorting any ETFs on real estate right now? Because mortgage applications down 90% year over year. I'm seeing home prices, like, for example, 60 days ago, a home hit the market by me for $975. Within 45 days, it was already listed at $800,000. So you get a 20% drop in 45 days.
Yeah, the same thing has happened here. But again, I trade off chart pattern. I did play KB Home on the short side with the put option. I made money there. Now I will do it one more time, and but it's not at my price point, nor is it at my pattern for me to do that yet. But I am looking to do it, on the next leg, provided I have the right chart setup. For me, it's always about the chart setup. I don't care about the news. The market is always forward looking, right? So when I got into KB Homes, that was projecting what the news that you just talked about, where a house goes from 975 to 800K in 30 to 60 days. But that was already the chart. The charts have already played that move out. So now it's just about waiting for the next chart pattern and looking to capitalize from that. It's never about so much Just you know the news is there. The charts are always way ahead of the news, right? Before anybody realized that the Nasdaq was falling, it topped out last year in November. Everybody thinks it topped out this year in February, March, but the charts are always ahead of any kind of news event that occurs. It tells you that stuff is going to happen.
What about your U.S. natural gas trade? How is that going?
Oh, that was a blockbuster. I closed that out today in call options. I have it here, 43.6% today. I closed out in UNG calls. I closed out my swing trade. The second half on a swing trade where I actually owned the shares was over 23%. The first half just under 13%. I mean, it was a home run, and that trade's not over. I only took the money today because it's up so much. It's such a significant run in the last few sessions that it as a trader, we take it off the table. But I'll put that trade back on very soon on a pullback. The funny thing, Bill, when natural gas was $10, I mean, people were tripping over themselves to go buy it. I wanted nothing to do with it at that point. I said maybe it goes higher. I don't know. But when it got to $5 or appears $5, they're giving the stuff away for free, and nobody wants it. It's just you got to chuckle at it. You can't make this up. And there I was buying it hand over fist. I'm like, man, they're just offering it out like this for nothing. And you put up numbers like that in just a couple of weeks. It's pretty amazing.
As you've taught me, charts are nothing more than human psychology and behavioral patterns, right?
That's right. They're just footprints of human nature. And once you learn how to read it, you can capitalize. And I just did a GAN seminar in Clearwater Beach last week. And I showed, traders, 50, 60 trades of mine that were the same way. Every trade is just a repeat of the trade before it. And, if you can just learn these patterns, learn these setups, there's money to be made. Whereas, if you're listening to the news or you got the financial media in your ear, you become paralyzed and you kind of do what they do because they're programming you on how to think. If you think independently and you don't have this linear way of thinking, you realize that everything is a cycle. You can benefit in these markets. I always try to tell everybody, just watch what the charts tell you to do. Don't worry about that guy's opinion. Don't even worry about my opinion is what I tell them. I tell them just do what the charts tell you to do.
What about USO, the oil ETF? Have you jumped on board that? You said you were looking at the oil trade last time we chatted.
I've done oil several times. In fact, I had some big scores in UCO, which is a leveraged oil, right? It's a 2-time leveraged oil play. I had that as a big swing trade winner. I don't even know if I have to look at what the gains were. They were just obscene too. And then we had it in the options too. We scored big there. I think we did. Don't quote me. I think I had a 60% winner in that one. So just in oil, we've really cleaned up, and the oil trade's not over either, Bill. So everybody thinks the oil trade was over. Everybody loved it at 130. They hated it when it got to 80. It was almost comical. And here I'm saying, they're laying it at your feet to take this trade, and nobody wants it. So like I said, and they'll do the same thing with other stuff down the road. But yeah, we cleaned up on that one too. This bullseye's having a bullseye year right now. We're going to finish strong, too, into the end of the year. I got some real treats coming up.
Oil, that's a multi-year trade for you, too, right? Or you're bullish multi-year because that's of the policies, governmental policies, essentially, in my opinion, is driving it.
Sure. You got this president in place. This guy is anti-oil. So the chart pattern tells me oil probably can get back at some point down the road to new all-time highs. And, if you recall, the all-time high for crude was 148 or 147 and a quarter, I believe, in 2008, which, by the way, I had that top. I shorted that top too. But that's another story. But this time, oil is very bullish. I mean, you have an administration that just refuses to drill. And they're using up the strategic oil reserve. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's stranger than fiction. But just watch the charts. It'll tell you what to do. I'm not in oil at the moment. I have taken profits on that. But the next pattern will be the breakout, and I'll be jumping on that.
Nick, European natural gas for a short period of time really dropped a couple of weeks ago. And, for someone like me that doesn't follow that market so closely and is not a trader, if I look at something like that and say, oh, this has to bounce, could a trade be so obvious that it becomes not even a good trade? Advise me here.
No. If it becomes so obvious, it usually is a good trade, right? The reason why nat gas sold off was because you had all of these LNG tankers out there off the coast of Spain, and they're trying to flood Europe with nat gas. I lived in Europe. They're going to go through that nat gas like a hot knife through butter. It gets cold there. It's windy there. It's chilly in the winter. They're going to go through that nat gas fast. So, they could do whatever they want. We just are not producing enough. They don't even have enough LNG terminals or tankers to even get the stuff over there, even if you could. So, what they've done with Russia and the Ukraine and NATO has done is really a disservice, and it's despicable what they've done to the European people. These people are going to freeze this year because of that. So, that's my take on it. I'm not a political guy. I don't get caught up in the left-right paradigm, but people need energy. We're not at the point where the solar panels can heat up a house or run a business. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and it gets more crazy each and every day. And, I've said this from a couple of years back already, how crazy this is, and it's still the case.
What about gold? You've already laid out your target, 1450, 1500 as just a great, multi-generational or a generational buy price.
That's right.
Where we're at now, gold has dropped significantly from $2,100 in the short term. Is it of interest to you?
We're almost at our number, right? We're almost there. I mean, got to 1600. We got another 100 points to go. So, just be patient, let it get down there. I think gold right now, I had a great day on last Friday. It bounced pretty significantly. You could have a little bit more upside, but these are just bounces because the dollar is still very strong. But again, Bill, when gold gets down to that 1500, you're going to see, just like silver, just like nat gas, just like oil, nobody's going to want it. And they're going to be laying it on a silver platter for everybody. And people are just going to be like, oh, I don't want it. And then that's going to be the time to get it. It never fails. It just repeats itself over and over. But, gold here is tradable. But the real bottom is not in for another, till you get down to that 1500 handle, low 1500, might even get into the 1400 handle. Then it's laying itself out on a silver platter for you. But we'll see who goes in there and nibbles on it.
What was your best trade of the last 30 days, or did you already mention it?
Oh, we've had so many good ones now. I mean, I had silver.
You sound like a trading salesman, Nick.
I know, and I don't like to be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't like to be that guy, but there's been, these commodity plays have just been absolutely tremendous. And, and I shouted it from the rooftop for people to get involved. I said it even on your program in September. Before September, I gave you the level. I said, hey, this is a spot to buy silver. Nobody believed it. We've traded silver in the options alone for well over 100% on multiple occasions. We've traded nat gas. I just gave you those numbers. The oil plays were tremendous. I mean, these commodities plays, they're like the gift that keeps on giving, but yet people just refuse to get into it. I don't understand why. They just don't want to do it. But, I've been saying it for months. There's nothing I sugarcoat. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be the first guy to tell you. I'm never embarrassed about being wrong because we're traders, and traders get some things wrong sometimes. The timing doesn't work out. It's a humbling business. But I mean, yeah, I'm doing a victory lap at the moment because it's been that good.
And 80% right is your target. Usually you've told me, right? If you can get 80% of the trades right.
That's right. I'd be happy with 70% with good money management. You're going to make a lifestyle for yourself. I'll do better than 80. I probably do like 81 or 83% historically in my life. So, again, it's never easy. I don't ever want anybody to think this is easy. This is years and years and years worth of hard work to figure this stuff out. It wasn't something that came overnight. But, I teach it. I hope people will learn it. I'm not going to be teaching it much longer. I'm about to go fade off in the sunset, as you know, Bill. I've said it before, but it's coming. The day is coming.
Yeah, but those numbers are still going to roll through your head every day. Are you going to be able to enjoy the Florida sun and not think about the computer screen at all?
I'll still be trading. I'm going to do this forever. I'm not going to ever walk away from it for myself. But I'm just telling people to get educated while they still can, because you'll have to find somewhere else to go do that.
What about metals?
Catching fish.
You'll be catching fish, yeah. What about metals other than gold and silver? Platinum, palladium, anything catch your eye?
I love platinum right now. I don't track palladium as closely, but platinum I love. I think that's going to go north of 1,000 in the short term. I'm not a huge fan of copper at the moment. I think it's a lot like gold right now. It'll get some bounces, but my copper level, I don't have it offhand in my head, but it's lower when I do it in my notebook. So, but I will be getting into copper again, and we haven't even seen the commodity run yet. So this is just, a movie preview of the commodity run. The next couple of years, when this bear comes to a conclusion, we'll see the commodities really ramp up, and they'll go higher than most people will ever imagine.
And have you made the most money in commodity trading of all the different sectors?
Lately I have. So lately I will say that the commodity trades have been just fantastic. As you know, the silver trade was just tremendous, right? The silver trades alone is just have been spectacular. So, and I don't use those adjectives lightly. If they've been good, I'd say good. But when I say spectacular, I mean spectacular. And it's not over. We're going to get more of those. So that's what people don't understand. The silver trade's in its infancy as far as I'm concerned. Gold has not even come into the buy level yet. Once that gets there, you'll see the trades that go on in there as well.
Nick, a couple of months ago, I saw a comment on the YouTube with our interview, and the comment was, why is he getting excited about a 15% gain? You mentioned 15% or something like that. Maybe explain to listeners a little bit about your philosophy of scalping profits on these trades.
Sure. So, if you get a 15% gain, well, first of all, what is the NASDAQ down for the year? 30%, 31? Yeah. What is the S&P down? 20? What is the Russell down? 20, 21? What is the Dow down? 11, 12, maybe 10? So those are negative. What do you get in a bank account? Get nothing. You could have $1 million in there. You probably come away with $500 in interest. What are you getting elsewhere? You're going to tell me you're not going to be happy over a 15% gain? Just today, I took a 23% gain on nat gas. So if I was happy over a 15% gain in whatever it was, silver or crude, I'm doing cartwheels today, 23% in just 2 weeks or whatever it is. That's unbelievable. So again, where a bear market, most people are getting their head handed to them, and we're walking away with 15% gainers. That's unprecedented. I'm happy when I get a 5% gain. You kidding me? 15 is a huge number. That person obviously has not been in the markets very long, or they're just so used to being in the markets during the easy money spigot turning on, and you wake up and you got some kind of big earnings jump or something like that. But historically speaking, you're not getting gains like that. That's unprecedented. So, again, when I hear a comment like that, I could tell the person doesn't have any longevity in the business. They haven't been around very long. And, what has the internet done? It's made people just, not very nice people, a little bit jealous. Right? That's what I don't think there's been really that much good that has come from it. So, especially in social media.
Well, you and I can chat like this though, Nick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great part, right? It's like electricity. You could light your house or you could light yourself on fire. But, most people tend to go to the negative side. It's just, we live in a negative world. That's really what it comes down to. But
and you're not
15% gain is, you should be doing cartwheels if you get a 15% gain.
And we're not talking about 15% on $2,000 either. So it's more meaningful.
Exactly. And that's what people just don't realize, that but anybody that's been trading for any period of time knows that's a spectacular gain.
All right. Your website is MiningStockEducation.com. You're soon to enter retirement, you just announced. So there's still openings, though, until you retire, Nick, isn't there?
That's right. I got a little bit more time to go. I had to stick around. I didn't know inflation was going to go this high so quickly.
All right. Well, I'll be chatting with you again in 30 days. So thanks for coming on the show today, Nick.
Bill, thank you for having me.